Positive news from Pfizer. Not so great news from Johnson & Johnson. Concerns about COVID variants and the grit of a great-grandmother to get vaccinated. This is your weekly dose, where we round up the week's news on COVID-19 vaccines. And don't worry if we move too fast through a story, links to all the articles are below in the description. In the race to vaccinate, this week 11 million people were vaccinated in the US, including Paul Stanley. If you're scratching your head right now, it's because he's not wearing his makeup, aka Starchild, co-lead singer of the rock band Kiss. That brings the national total to over 59 million vaccinations, with 17 million fully vaccinated. States are working to complete Phase 1A vaccinations of healthcare workers and nursing homes and begin Phase 1B, which includes seniors and frontline essential workers. Looking at the daily totals, administrations continue to steadily climb, with the country averaging almost 1.6 million vaccinations a day. At this rate, the country would achieve herd immunity by December 1st, 2021. However, a recent poll found that almost a third of the country is hesitant to get vaccinated. Daily vaccination rates could drop in the coming months as we move to try and vaccinate these less enthusiastic Americans. Internationally, the U.S. leads the world in administered vaccines, but on a per capita basis, Israel remains ahead by a wide margin. On the vaccine development front, good news this week from Pfizer, with the company announcing that their vaccine can be stored in regular freezers for 2 weeks instead of ultra-cold freezers. Also, 2 studies published this week indicate that the vaccine generates robust immunity after just 1 dose. This has led some to call for the second dose to be skipped to speed up vaccinations. However, there is no clinical trial data to support a 1-dose regime, and officials are concerned that doing so may undermine long-term immunity and the ability to ward off COVID variants. Johnson & Johnson recently applied for the FDA to authorize their vaccine. Unlike Pfizer and Moderna, whose vaccines require 2 doses, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine requires just 1. The FDA has scheduled a meeting for its advisory panel to review the vaccine on February 26th. The vaccine is expected to be approved. However, the company indicated this week that will only have a few million doses initially available. This has caused officials to delay the timeline for widely available vaccines back a month to May. Vaccine maker Novavax recently announced that it had completed international Phase 3 trials and would begin a rolling regulatory process with the FDA while it completed U.S. Phase 3 trials. AstraZeneca had completed Phase 3 trials for its vaccine in January. While it planned to submit an application for authorization, questions about the company's testing threw that process in the doubt. The vaccine has not been approved in the U.S., but is a major source of vaccinations in other parts of the world. The company announced this week that it would start trials on children as young as 6. Vaccines are currently unavailable for children under 16. It is hoped that trials like this will open the door to children of all ages by the end of the year. Moving to COVID variant vaccine news, while there are thousands of COVID mutations around the world, the CDC is currently tracking 3 particularly concerning variants. The UK variant, first discovered in Kent, England, is a more contagious strain that some believe is also deadlier. The CDC anticipates that by March it will become the dominant form of COVID-19 in the US. Fortunately, studies indicate that the variant has little effect on vaccine effectiveness. Another variant receiving a lot of press was first identified in South Africa. Studies are showing that available vaccines are less effective, possibly even significantly so, against the South African variant. However, those vaccines are still protective against the variant overall, and vaccine developers are working on booster shots to improve performance. Though less discussed in the media, concern is growing over the Brazilian variant. It shares the South African variant's mutation that appears to make vaccines less effective on the virus. Of particular concern, the variant ran rampant in areas of Brazil thought to have achieved herd immunity, meaning that regular COVID antibodies, whether from infection or vaccine, may be significantly less effective against the variant. Finally, in How Far Would You Go news, 90-year-old Seattleite Fran Goldman walked 6 miles in the snow to get her vaccine. She said her motivation was to hug her great-grandson. No word yet on whether she walked uphill both ways. And that was your weekly dose. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos on COVID-19 vaccines. If you have any thoughts or questions, please leave them in the comments. And as always, stay safe.